The Xbox reset is upon us, and it sucks. It sucks. I'm hearing people talk about that, it's a best case scenario for a bad situation, or, not as bad as they thought it was going to be. And hard disagree. It's bad. It's bad. It's going to get worse. It's not over. Uh, I don't like any of it. I don't like what's happening. I don't like the way it's being framed. I don't like the way they're presenting it to us. I don't I it's awful. Xbox is effectively just getting worse and worse, and I maintain that I think they are stripping it for parts, they're shrinking it down for sale or something, but like Xbox is fundamentally changing from the brand and the platform that it used to be. Um let's get into it. I'm going to kind of walk through the post, and we can, go from there. So we've got the new Xbox logo, which makes everything better. Resetting Xbox. And just first thing, as far as like the framing of this, it just says Asha. Not even, no last name. The last one on the next 100 days said, I think Asha and Matt, or Matt and Asha. Use last names. Don't be personable on something like this. I don't like it. This message was just sent to Team Xbox employees globally. Yeah, but it was also engineered to be posted on Xbox Wire for like the public to see. So let's cut through this, because one of the things you're going to hear from a lot of people is, wow, the honesty. Oh, they're being so open and they're really breaking it down for you. And I mean, I guess, but I feel like there's maybe too much honesty in some of this. Right off the bat, after careful consideration, I've made the difficult decision to reduce our team by approximately 3,200 people throughout the coming fiscal year. This will include approximately 1,600 role eliminations today. And in addition, 4 studios will leave Xbox to new management. I recognize that a year-long restructuring creates additional challenges. Unfortunately, it is not possible to make all the necessary changes in a single day, and I wanted to be direct about the scale. Why is it not possible to make all the changes in a single day? You know what I mean? Like, obviously, we know why. It's because 1,600 people are still needed, or the wheels will fall off. But can you imagine the feeling at Xbox? Like, you think you're going to finally get these people have probably been dreading knowing these layoffs are coming, and then it gets announced and it's like, but they're not over yet. You're going to watch a bunch of your coworkers pack up their shit, but you might be next. And we don't know exactly when, but over the coming year, another approximately 1,600 of you are out, but we still need you for now, but not for long. Not for more than a year, but for now. And I don't understand, how are people going to work at Xbox for the next year, wondering if they're next or their coworker or team member is next. I don't know if that's the proper amount of honesty here. Okay. Like, layoffs are, I don't know, man. It's shocking to me to roll it out like this and have people go, well, at least they're being upfront. They shouldn't be upfront like this. This is wild. This is, at least I'm being honest that an axe is hanging over your head. Okay, I guess, yay for honesty is the best policy. Our business today is not healthy. Again, being honest, that's great. As a customer, though, it's like, oh, well, I'm going to shop elsewhere. Like, it's not healthy right now. And look, we're about to get into this, but I just think, like, I understand the idea. You've heard like they're treating Xbox like a startup, move fast and break things. The only problem with that is Xbox is not a startup. It's owned by one of the richest and biggest companies in the world, and it's been around for 25 years. People have built massive libraries with Xbox. People have invested a lot of time and money into the brand. It's not a startup. Our business today is not healthy. Well, that's probably not going to improve. We are operating at margins that are 3 to 10x lower than comparable platform and publishing businesses. Oh, the honesty. 3 to 10x. It's this is the range. This is the range. If I can get both hands off fucking camera. This is the range. 3 to 10 times. That's such a, like, it's not even in the same ballpark. We entered Gen 9 with a smaller install base and a higher cost structure. To grow, we bet on Game Pass, multi-platform, and a broader portfolio of content. While those businesses have created meaningful value, they did not grow at the pace we expected. Now, I've talked about this before. Console is not enough for Xbox. It's never going to be enough for Xbox. They missed out on, they couldn't get onto mobile. They got blocked. Cloud did not take off like they wanted. PC adoption has not taken off like they wanted. Game Pass was never going to work just on console, right? They wanted that like 100 million, 80 million to make it sustainable. They didn't get there, so they got to make these cuts. And, you know, broadly, I do think that that is a major issue facing Xbox. You know, they say it right here. Our core business weakened. We added more teams, more investment, and more time, hoping for a better outcome. So basically, they stretched themselves really thin. It didn't pay off. None of it paid off because all of the new growth vectors they were seeking didn't pay off, and they were ignoring console. But I don't know how you turn around and double down on console now in this environment with a component crisis. Who is going to go buy an Xbox for, what is it, $900 now? It's like $800, right? And I think the Series S is $500 or $600, something ridiculous. Who is going to buy that? You don't have exclusives. You have like no faith in the brand, and you're going to reinvest on console, but they're not going to stay on console. And we'll get into that in a second, but let's get through this a little bit more. It pisses me off so much, man, to see a brand like Xbox that has been struggling, and, you know, people are thinking maybe they're going to get their act together, and they're not. They're not at all. The messaging is slightly changed. It's like a new package, a new face. They're going after the same shit. Since 2018, we have aggressively expanded our studio portfolio, while the number of games created each month across the industry now outpaces the last 10 years combined. Which is a wild stat, but it's not really a solvable problem. There are more game developers and there are too many games. Like, that's the reality. Just like with books or movies or music, there's too much of it. And that's fine. Like, making art is a dream for a lot of people. And as the tools have become more widespread and the knowledge of game making has like increased, you're going to see more people making games, and distribution has gotten better. And like, that's just the reality, which, you know, they admit. We now find ourselves competing not only with the largest publishers, but also with smaller independent studios. It is neither possible nor desirable to own every great independent studio. Which, yeah, fine. And, you know, obviously that leak happened where Xbox was trying to buy like everyone, or at least considering it. But I still don't think that, you know, even if something as big as Activision and ZeniMax, they still didn't own every studio. You know, they took, honestly, a small slice of the industry, big players in the industry, but there were a lot of game studios outside of their umbrella. So this idea that like, oh, we were just too thin. It's like, yeah, but also you just weren't managing what you had. It is neither possible nor desirable to own every great independent studio. We have also learned that we are not the best home for every type of studio. In a typical year, we lost 64 cents for every dollar we invested. That's crazy. Xbox is a box you put $100 into and get $36 back. That's crazy. And that's obviously they were subsidizing Game Pass, and they were putting a lot of money into content for Game Pass to try to make that grow. But to lose 64 cents for every dollar just seems astronomically more investment into that than I thought. Like, yes, they're subsidizing it. They're spending money to make it grow. but that amount is just, as we reset Xbox, we will help independent creators succeed by providing open dev tools and audiences to realize their vision, which, yeah, obviously it's cheaper for them just to fund and pick up studios rather than have them in-house, like they did with Silksong or with Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I don't know why I say the full name of that game. Everyone just, I could say either title and people would know what I'm talking about. But I like to be proper. Yeah, man. It's just, Compulsion Games and Double Fine Productions will return to management and transition to independent studios with their IP, catalog, and runway for their next games. Ninja Theory and Undead Labs have entered terms to join new ownership with funding to complete and grow Senua and State of Decay 3. In France, Arcane's management is beginning required consultation with its Works Council to review potential strategic options. So this is, I think, what everyone's talking about with, best of a bad situation. These studios aren't getting shut down. They're getting spun off or bought by someone else. The funny thing about Undead Labs and Ninja Theory is, who's the new ownership? Is it the same ownership? Is it someone different? I saw an article on IGN talking about how Undead Labs under the new ownership I got to pull this up. Hang on. Undead Labs reportedly won't be required to bring State of Decay 3 to Xbox Game Pass after Microsoft's sale. Now, we don't need to get into that. I just want to show you my favorite part of this article. Additional information surrounding the change, including the identity of the new owners, was not officially detailed. GameFile said that according to one of its sources, the new entity overseeing Undead Labs will be revealed later this summer. An exact date for the reveal was not shared. We're doing reveal teases for parent companies? Like, what? What? Why is it a secret? Like, they're buying Undead Labs, but they're like, no, but don't tell anybody. I don't want anybody to see me with Undead Labs yet. I mean, okay. But everyone's saying it's good news that these studios are getting spun off and not closed down. And yes, like, I agree. I guess that is good news. I'm glad that we're going to get another game from Double Fine. But also, how much runway, they say they're getting runway for their next games. How, we don't know how these deals work. We don't know what kind of funding they have. Are they going to have their own layoffs, and Xbox just gets to avoid, oh, Double Fine's cut in half, but we didn't do it. They did that. We let them go. It feels a little bit like it's very possibly out of the frying pan into the fire. Most of these studios, especially like Double Fine, one of the reasons to go with Xbox was to get out of the hustle of trying to like fundraise games, so I guess it's good news, but I'm very curious to see if these studios are around in a year or two, because it seems like the employees are just sort of getting well, I hope we can make it. And I hope they can make it, but there's too many games. They're going to have to make something that truly competes, and we're going to see if they can do it on their own. I can't, obviously you don't want to see people out of work, but with some of these studios, it's like, it's time to make a game that really resonates, right? You're independent. You gotta knock this out. I don't know. I guess it's good that they've been spun off so that Xbox doesn't have to get like yelled at by people on X, but we'll see. We're also making reductions across other units, and in some cases shifting investment to focus on higher priority projects. These changes vary in size across Activision, Bethesda, Blizzard, King, Mojang, Xbox Game Studios, everybody. It's like coming out now. I was looking on X earlier. I was getting ready to make this video. Apparently, like, id has been cut in half, and you're like, the team that makes Doom, and like, doesn't id Tech, like, isn't that how you're running the new Indiana Jones game, and like what Machine Games uses to make Wolfenstein and that, and the 25% or a third at Obsidian, you're like, are these studios going to be able to produce? Or what's more likely is they're looking at the way Activision is run, and they're like, maybe a lot of these studios can become support studios, not for Activision, but for each other, right? Like, are we, they're talking about, oh, we need to like focus on like these core franchises we have. And it's like, are they just going to be pumping out like Fallout and Elder Scrolls faster by having like any studio tangentially around an RPG just kind of feeding and supporting those games? I mean, I guess that's the way they're going. I'm less interested in that. I mean, obviously I'm excited for like Elder Scrolls 6, but I don't know, man. It just seems like Xbox spent so much money and pitched so much, and like what new IP did they come up with? What like standout game have they made besides like Forza Horizon? What's really hit? And I'm sure it looks like the new Call of Duty is going to go off this year, but obviously that was just part of the Activision buyout. Man, it just seems wild. In addition, Mojang and King will now report directly to me. These two studios have increasingly become platforms and are our largest by monthly active players. They bring critical geographic, demographic, and differentiation to Xbox. Yeah, that's the direction Xbox is going. That's their plan. Is more of that. Mobile platform, never-ending black hole games. All right, it's Minecraft and Candy Crush. And like I'm sure Xbox will make a lot of money with that. I don't care about those games. You know, in the effort to reset, I feel like Xbox is resetting into something that is going to be wholly unappealing to me. Now this part is the craziest part. Resetting their platform. We know that great technology gets better when it gets simpler, not bigger. Today, in some parts of the company, work passes through as many as 14 layers of management. Our platform teams are 40% larger than they were at the start of this generation, even as our player base and playtime have declined. 14 layers of management. What? What? And it sucks because you can hold like two truths in your head, you know, like that's an insane way to run a company. Like that is like public sector government levels of like bureaucracy that is obviously you don't need 14 layers of management on a game development. But where do you think those 1,600 people come from? And that sucks. People are losing their livelihood. And so I don't want to be like, yeah, you know, but at the same time, it's like, that is a crazy way to operate. And that's the problem with this like reset and with what's going on with games. There are too many games. People are making them with smaller teams and cheaper. And these big companies, they have to adjust to it. But what they're adjusting to is just to focus on these safe bets. And that is what's going to happen is Xbox is going to refocus down onto like their big hitters, and they're going to just try to iterate there. And I'd said before, that's kind of where they need to go. They need to iterate on these things. They need to stop trying to innovate. You need to leave innovation to smaller indie and AA independent teams. But man, I just don't have faith that Xbox is resetting in this way to the benefit of I don't know if the term is premium gamer. That sounds, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the word for it is, but like PC console, people who play not just AAA, but who play traditional games. You know what I mean? Like not mobile, not live service, not like a forever game, but people who play like a variety gamer across, whether that's on console or PC. I don't think this reset is to the benefit. You know, in addition to all this, and this is just about people taking over different projects and blah, blah, blah. I kind of want to cut to there was an article in, let me pull this up because I had to get it on my phone because it was a paid, you had to pay to I'm not going to pay to read Fortune. But I did get a screenshot of my phone going through X, like the link. Asher Sharma does an interview with Fortune about all this stuff, and it ends, I think, with the most telling piece. Turning around Xbox will take time, Sharma said. She noted that executives are experimenting with new business models for hardware, including expanding consumer programs like buy now, pay later financing to lower the barrier to entry, and moving Xbox away from a strict closed system. She also said Xbox must be available on mobile and PC to meet players where they are. And here is the sentence to hear. I think our core has to be healthy, and that will be necessary, but not sufficient, she said. And that's what I've been saying all along. No matter what they talk about with resetting and getting back to the console, it's not enough. The console will never be enough. Microsoft doesn't care about being a little better than PlayStation. Like, it doesn't move the needle for them. They want to be what Amazon is to shopping. They want to be to games, and they're only going to get there through mobile and being everywhere. And they can't figure out how to do it. They burned a bunch of money trying and it failed. And now they're going to just crush Xbox into an agile little rocket so they can aim it at the target again. That's what they're doing. They're trying to build another missile so they can aim it at the target, which is, we want 1 billion gamers a day, which is just another way of saying, you heard like Phil Spencer and the previous leadership say, we want to reach 3 billion gamers. We want to reach everybody who plays video games. We want them. That's Microsoft's goal. And I don't know how they do it with Xbox. It failed. Like, it was cool to take the big swing, right? You want these kind of companies like that are in a position, go ahead, try it. And honestly, if Xbox were to collapse, gaming would continue. There are still other operations out there. So I'm not saying, they should never have taken the swing. It's cool they took the swing, but you failed. And I don't know how Xbox gets out of this hole. Like, I just think it is absolutely crazy for them to come out here and say this and act like they're changing for the better and they're resetting. They are not. It is the same goal. Xbox will never change. They want to be the blob and just cover all of gaming. They tried it with Game Pass cloud and PC and getting onto mobile, and they couldn't do it. And they're going to try to figure out a new way to get there. But they're never going to be satisfied, trying to create a great place for like traditional variety gamers to play, because that's not enough for Microsoft. The money's not there. And that sucks. But I should go.